When I was growing up, my family moved to a cul-de-sac when I was around 8 and my brother was in the ballpark of 9. We immediately befriended two girls who lived next door to us who were basically our exact same age, and we hung out with them every day. We would frequently go down to a bike path located behind the circle of houses that occupied our street to ride around on our skateboards, walk to the nearby shopping center it eventually led to. It was very long, and basically just hang out. The bike path went through the woods and went in both directions for a long time, and we would often wander into the woods and play in the creek and catch crawfish and frogs and all that huckleberry fin kind of stuff. Well, the first or second week we lived there, my brother and I and these two girls were playing around in the creek a good ways down from our house, and we went exploring into a short sewage pipe. It was barely 20 feet in total, and you could easily see both ends, which drained into a collection of large rocks. Well, after we had sufficiently crawled around in this sketchy rainwater runoff pipe, we started climbing up the rocks to leave. My brother noticed something in the rocks and picked it up to discover that it was a small, wallet-sized, and relatively recent portrait of himself that had been taken at our school for the yearbook the prior year. It had signs of aging and water damage, and seemed to have been there for a while. I think our initial reaction was to laugh at my brother for looking goofy or something, but looking back I can't believe I didn't see how sinister it seemed. Kept going back for a long time, and it was not the last creepy thing to happen on that bike path or in that neighborhood. Edit. I have a few people asking for more stories from the path, so here is another. We continued to hang out on the same bike path on a regular basis for the next 2 years or so. It would have a lot of snakes during the summer, spring months, and we would run over a lot of them when we were riding our bikes down there, which would scare the shit out of us. The snakes were usually garden snakes, or some such similar harmless snake. One time, with the same group of people, my brother and these two girls, I ran over a huge black snake, at least 4 feet long. It writhed around in pain and started lunging defensively at us, which we decided to think was dangerous because we were kids looking for a thrill. I'm definitely not proud of this, and I regret it now, but we proceeded to chase the snake down the bike path and eventually cornered against a tree. My brother ended up throwing a stone, killing the snake. We poked it a while, and my brother was actually ballsy enough to pick it up and try and freak us out with it and all that childish stuff. We ended up getting called into dinner at some point and said we would meet up after and head up to the local shopping center after we were done eating. When we reconvened, we started to head back down the bike path. When we got a little ways down, we noticed something ahead of us barely 3 feet off the paved path. It was a cross made of bound together sticks with the snake draped over the horizontal arms of the cross. We stared at it for a long time, or at least it seemed like a while, without saying much. A runner eventually came and tore it down hastily, reprimanding us and calling us delinquents and mumbling about blasphemy. At this point we started getting cautious about going down there at night. Oh, I have so many stories I wish I could share, but the one that I will always remember: one typical morning, my husband got up and went to work. When he has to get up early, our Great Dane would get on the bed and sleep with me for the rest of the morning. Great Danes are huge, as everyone knows. When she would stand up on the mattress, it would shake the whole bed, and it felt just like 150-pound adult standing on the mattress. This one morning she stood up, circled around. I guessed couldn't get comfortable, so she jumped off the bed with a huge thud, as you would expect from a dog her size. I heard her walk down the hallway. We had squeaky floors. I was kind of awake but had my eyes closed. I wasn't ready to get up, so I rolled over only to feel her still laying there fast asleep, even snoring a little. I had no idea who or what was standing on the bed and had jumped off. I was laying there kind of freaked out and wide awake. Then I heard a loud smack on my husband's side of the bed. Just like someone smacking the palm of their hand on a wall. Then I heard another thud at the foot of the bed, followed by what sounded like little footsteps running down the hallway. It ended with a rustle of a plastic bag that was sitting in the dining room. My dog immediately woke up and popped her head up and started growling. Then she fell back asleep. Thanks a lot, Lily. By this time I'm freaked out, but wondering, maybe there was no work that day and my husband was sent home early. I didn't want to move, so I called his name. No response. I grabbed my phone and called him from under the sheets. I asked if he was home. He was still at work. He asked if everything was okay, and I said the house is creeping me out again. He said he wanted to tell me some but didn't want to freak me out. I wanted him to tell me. He told me that morning, he's sitting in the chair in the dining room, at the end of the hallway. He was bent over tying his shoes when he heard what sounded like little footsteps running down the hallway toward him, at his face since he was bent over. He said he felt a breeze hit his face, and immediately after he heard what sounded like someone stepping on a plastic bag. The same one at the end of the hallway. He said he saw it move. He had forgotten his lunch because he said he booked it out the door right after it happened. Oh yeah, thanks for leaving me lol. That weirded me out so bad.